Alors, chers élèves de la grade 9, bonjour, bienvenue à cette classe en ligne, à cette classe de Google Classroom de Remote Learning. Je me présente donc votre enseignant pour cette année-ci en Computer Science, on va dire ICT en grade 9, mais par la suite deviendra Computer Science dans les grades supérieurs. Je me présente, Mouzamil Matar, votre enseignant. Donc, commençons avec le livre. Le livre qui est disponible sur le website de la MAI. Comme préconisé par le département, le premier chapitre sera couvert est en fait le Unit 1, the first chapter itself. Venons ici bien sûr, vous allez écrire votre nom ici à la plume bleue. Alors les devoirs, les notes, vous les prendrez à la plume bleue dans votre livre ou au crayon si c'est un dessin. Ensuite, la correction des devoirs se fera à la plume noire et la plume rouge sera réservée à moi pour les corrections si nécessaire. Donc, voici le chapitre 1, Unit 1, Computer Operations and Fundamentals. Dans ce chapitre, nous allons voir les fonctions d'un operating system, les différents types d'operating system et dans une prochaine vidéo, les troubleshooting techniques. Alors, reprenons. What is operating system? Donc, dans l'ordinateur, nous avons hardware et software. Hardware and software. Hardware is a physical part of the computer system. Everything that we can touch, handle, manipulate, keyboard, mouse, etc. Hardware is a physical part. Et de l'autre côté, nous avons software. Software veut dire all the programs used in a computer system. Maintenant, software peut être classifié encore une fois plus simplement en deux parties. Nous avons system software, operating system par exemple, et application software, Microsoft Word par exemple. Donc, software peut être divisé en deux parties, system software ou application software. System software, c'est ce que nous allons voir aujourd'hui, c'est en fait l'operating system. Vous avez fait, excusez-moi, en grade 7 que software, hardware cannot work without each other. Each one need the other one to be able to work. Donc, maintenant, nous allons voir que, en fait, l'operating system, c'est le software le plus important que nous avons dans nos ordinateurs pour le faire fonctionner. Donc, an operating system is a system software. Vous le voyez ici. An operating system is Operating system is a system software that controls the hardware and allows communication. Parce que moi, user, I cannot communicate with the hardware. If I need to print a file on the printer, I can't talk to the printer. I can't put my pen drive near the printer and tell it to print. I need to send the file from my computer to the printer. And who does that transfer? It is the operating system. Donc, on continue. It is the most important software in the computer system. It consists of essential files that make the computer function. Donc, it's the most important software. Nous avons différents types d'operating system. Microsoft Windows, the most commonly used operating system in the world, with more than 80% of personal computers working with Microsoft Windows, and the latest version being Windows 10. It is the most common. Then we have Mac OS, Mac 10. Donc, operating system used in computer manufacturers by Apple Incorporation. We have also a free version of an operating system which is called Linux. We have several versions. The most commonly used will be Red Hat or Ubuntu or Edubuntu. We also have many other versions of Linux. But all of these versions, they are free. And then we have Android, which is used mostly by mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets, but can also be used on devices such as multimedia systems in cars, can also be used in other devices with multimedia capabilities such as TV boxes. And it is good to know that Android is in fact derived from Linux. Now, the functions for the operating system. What is meant by the term function? Function means what task an operating system do, or what are the different parts of an operating system. So first of all, the function of an operating system is to provide a user interface. What is an interface? It allows the user and the hardware to communicate. It allows me, the user, to talk with the computer. It shows what is happening. It allows me to make options, to choose. Nowadays, our computers have graphical user interface, which means that I have icons, I have menus, I have a pointer that is moving just in front of you and changes from shape from time to time. It's an arrow. Here it is just like a cursor, and at times it can even be a crosshair. Excuse me. Next, so we have said that the operating system provides us a user interface through which we can interact with the computer. Next, we have memory management. Memory management means to manage our memory. We have two things, memory and storage. Storage means storing for long term, hard disk drive par exemple. Par contre, memory management veut dire how we're going to manage our memory, meaning the RAM mostly. Alors nous allons voir que it allocates memory space to programs and data. Donc, memory space, c'est limité. Donc, par exemple, 2 Go de RAM, 4 GB of RAM, et je dois utiliser cette amount of RAM to distribute it, to allocate it to many programs that need this memory space. It keeps track which parts of the memory are in use and which parts are free. Ça, c'est la deuxième fonctionnalité de l'operating system. Comme vous voyez ici, l'operating system going to load programs and load data into computer memory and also unload data and programs from computer memory. Next is processor management. The fastest part and the most important part of a computer system, c'est le CPU. Le CPU, le Central Processing Unit, le processeur, si vous voulez, must never be left idle. Ne doit jamais être laissé oisif, sans travail à être complété, à ne rien faire. Donc, l'operating system is going to allocate tasks, always tasks going there. Wait, if the CPU is already busy, the operating system will ask the task to wait in a queue and then allocate these tasks to the processor once it is free. Now, suppose this is a scenario in my computer where I have task 1, 2, 3, and 4. Task 1, 2, and 3 needing to be processed. I'm going to allocate time slice to each task. A time slice means a very, very little amount of time. In fact, a time slice is going to be in the terms of milli or even microseconds, meaning that you take a second and divide it by 1000 and you take one slice of that. Or suppose that 1 second is one cake, a round birthday cake. You divide it into 1000 slices and you take out one slice. That very small slice is one time slice. Donc, nous allons allocate time slices to different tasks. Alors, nous voyons ici que time slice 1 is allocated to task 1. When time slice 1 is over, nous allons travailler task 2. Il se peut que task 1 it still has processing to do, but it will wait. But afterwards, time slice 4 is going to load task 1 again and continue processing. Next, operating system also carries out file management, managing of files, meaning that transfer of data files, copy paste of files, renaming of files, sorting of files, estimating their file size. All these are done by the operating system. It allows us to also to organize our files into folders. Next, we have hardware management. Hardware means all the physical devices connected to our computer, all devices connected attached to our computer. It manages peripheral devices. Peripheral, I remind you, will be all devices that are connected to a computer system. For example, mouse, keyboard, printer, and so on. It also makes sure that any input is sent to the correct output device. For example, if I have 3 printers connected and I send data to be printed, it ensures that the data is sent to the correct printer. Next, it manages the transfer of data between memory and backing storage. For example, if I need to load a big file that was stored in my hard disk drive into main memory, into RAM, that's the task of operating system. The task of operating system is also to prevent the hardware and the processor from being overloaded, from crashing by having too much work to do. Next, we have security management that is used to manage who accesses the computer through the use of passwords or even encryption. It prevents, in fact, unauthorized access. You need to provide the username and the correct password for that username. It also carries out error handling. Error handling means that when an error has occurred, a problem has occurred, it shows the user that there is an error happening, an error message is displayed, et en même temps, essayer de régler le problème. And when data is being transferred, par exemple, to a pen drive, when data is being transferred to a flash disk, and your flash disk doesn't have enough space for that transfer, that's also an error that needs to be handled. Alors, vous avez ici un quick test à être complété. Either you complete it directly in the book, which is my preferred suggestion, my preferred way of working. Vous prenez la plume bleue, vous écrivez les réponses directement. La correction se fera par la suite. Vous aurez les réponses demain du devoir. Vous allez corriger vos devoirs pour la semaine prochaine. Donc, alors vous ferez la correction par vous-même. Vous aurez les réponses. Et any issues with the correction that maybe there may have been a mistake in my answers, you do inform me through the Google Classroom. D'accord? Donc, à ce moment-là, si vous n'avez pas de livre, si vos parents ne veulent pas que vous écriviez dans vos livres, c'est très simple. Vous allez écrire, excusez-moi, donc page 4, quick test, partie A, réponse, partie B. N'allez pas copier les questions, s'il vous plaît. À moins que vous le vouliez, mais sinon, il n'y a rien de ma part qui vous l'oblige. Next, we have types of operating system. Nous avons vu que l'operating system, c'est un software très important. Mais il n'y a pas qu'un seul type d'operating system. Le plus simple. An operating system that supports only one user is called a single user. Par exemple, en ce moment-là, j'utilise mon ordinateur, mais il n'y a que moi qui utilise cet ordinateur. Donc, it's a single user. Votre téléphone portable, il n'y a que vous, at a time, who uses it. So, it is a single user. Next, a multi-user. Alors, multi-user, vous voyez que ici, il y a one user and all the different users, they don't have the system unit. Wherever CPU is found, we only have a monitor and a keyboard. So they need CPU power. So they're going to connect to the computer and share that processing power they need for hard disk, printer, and so on. It's called a multi-user. Operating system allowing multiple users to access the computer resources at the same time. The operating system is found here since the processor is found here. Donc, ce operating system là va devoir manage the resources. Par exemple, s'il y a 8 GB of RAM, partager ces 8 GB of RAM entre the user 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. D'accord? Alors ici, en fait, user 1 is acting as a server. Next, we have multiprocessing system. Multiprocessing, ça veut dire que one computer is using more than one processor to process the data. Comme nous voyons ici, CPU 1, 2 and 3 are all working together to work on program 1, 2 and 3. And this is all in the same computer. Il n'y a pas mon ordinateur avec CPU 1 et une autre personne avec CPU 2. Je vous rappelle que le boîtier en métal à côté de votre écran n'est pas un CPU. It is called a system unit. The CPU is found inside it. So I may have one system unit with 2 or 3 CPUs inside. Next, multitasking. Là, nous aurons un petit problème. There is something in the book which I won't call a mistake, but something rather incomplete, inaccurate plutôt. Donc, on va dire, an operating system capable of allowing several programs to run, vous ajouterez pour moi ici, to run apparently at the same time de votre livre. Donc, apparently, A-P-P-A-R-E-N-T-L-Y. Apparently at the same time. Donc, en apparence, j'ai l'impression que sur mon ordinateur, il y a mon Google Chrome, mon Mozilla Firefox qui est en train de travailler. Je travaille sur Excel en même temps. Il y a un dessin sur Paint. Il y a le Media Player, par exemple, VLC, qui joue un film, il y a peut-être un transfert de mon hard disk à mon pendrive, il y a un gros fichier qui est en train d'être téléchargé, d'être en train d'être downloaded. Il y a tous ces travaux-là qui se font en même temps. Mais en fait, ce n'est pas fait en même temps. It is done apparently. Le computer va en fait shifter d'ordinateur à ordinateur assez rapidement, en fait, très rapidement, ou moi, j'aurai l'impression que tout se fait en même temps. But the CPU can only work at one task at a time. En fait, ce qu'il fait là, il est en train de allocate the time slice very rapidly to all the tasks. And from my point of view, everything is being run at the same time. Par exemple, I have four students in front of me pour respecter l'exemple, that are being examined, that need my help plutôt. Each time someone needs my help, I'm going to look at that student to assist that student. En fait, someone from outside will think that I am managing 4 students at the same time, qui est faux. Je peux manager qu'un seul élève à la fois. Mais, if I shift from one student to the other very, very quickly, les élèves auront l'impression que I am looking at everyone at the same time. Même quelqu'un de l'extérieur pensera que everything is being done at the same time. Dernier point, petite note. Bon, on reverra ça dans le chapitre de network après sûrement. A server is a computer that provides data to other resources. Dans les grandes classes, nous allons dire qu'en fait, a server is a computer that shares resources to other computers. Resources could be hard disk space, printers, CPU power, processing power. Et dernier, a terminal is a computer connected to a network. Et terminal, c'est tout simplement un ordinateur qui se retrouve connecté au réseau. Voilà, nous passons maintenant au quick test, à la page 6 donc. Et ceci marque la fin de notre première classe. Les réponses vous seront transmises demain. Alors, any problem, any issues, any complaints, any feedback, any suggestions, feel free. Voice your concerns on Google Classroom. Mettez vos présences. Allez-y avec le devoir. Bon courage. Il y a beaucoup d'entre vous qui ont déjà fait le devoir. Merci pour ça. Mais veuillez, maintenant que l'explication a été faite, veuillez rechecker, revérifier. C'est tout pour moi. Bye bye.